Welcome to Vintage Celebrity. Today we're taking a look at the most unforgettable Hollywood actors of the 1980s. Back then versus now, some of them aged like fine wine. And the others? Well, let's just say time, but also surgery had other plans. Let's dive in and see who shocked us the most. In the 1980s, Mickey Rourke had it all. The looks, the talent, and a reputation as Hollywood's next Brando. But at the peak of his fame, he walked away from it all. Instead of continuing his Hollywood career, he decided to become a boxer. Years in the ring left his face battered, and a series of failed surgeries only made things worse. The handsome rebel was now nearly unrecognizable. But in 2008, he planned his comeback with The Wrestler, turning his pain into a role that earned him an Oscar nomination. Mickey fought a hell of a comeback, but the next actor didn't fight in the ring. He fought with sarcasm and comic genius. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Bill Murray. One of the funniest things about Bill, he's known for showing up uninvited to people's weddings, karaoke nights, and even random house parties. In one particular story, he crashed a bachelor party, gave a heartfelt toast to the groom, and then disappeared just as quickly as he arrived. But nowadays, he's trading punchlines for poetry and drifting through life like a real-life folktale. Let's just say, time's turned the party crasher into a soft-spoken film guy. Although Bill has slowed down, we can't say the same thing for our next star. Some say he is actually getting faster, or should we say filler. From hanging off jets to receiving medals from the US, Tom Cruise has done it all. He was recently honored with the Navy's highest civilian award for his contributions to Top Gun: Maverick, a true Hollywood hero moment. But just as the internet was celebrating, the headlines took a sharp turn. Because while the medal shined, so did something else: his face. Fans were stunned by his dramatically changed look, with many pointing out what looked like tons of filler and a totally different jawline. Let's just say, aging gracefully might have taken a pit stop at the plastic surgeon. But Tom is not the only one with a transformation. Although his colleague experienced a completely different change. Let's move on to Val Kilmer. In the 80s and 90s, he was untouchable. Top Gun, The Doors, Batman Forever. He had the looks, the voice, the presence. But behind the scenes, life took a devastating turn. After battling throat cancer, Val lost his voice and underwent a tracheotomy, leaving him almost unrecognizable from his glory days. And yet, he came back. Together with Tom in Top Gun: Maverick, Kilmer's emotional reunion brought audiences to tears. His voice recreated with AI, his legacy fully intact. Next up, John Travolta, Hollywood's king of reinvention. From disco legend in Saturday Night Fever to Dancing Danny in Grease, Travolta ruled the late 70s and made a killer comeback in Pulp Fiction. But his personal life took darker turns. He lost his teenage son, his wife, and spent decades as one of the most high-profile members of Scientology. And while fans were distracted by his hair or lack of it, Travolta endured heartbreak, criticism, and public scrutiny. Fans were stunned when he shaved his head, traded the black hair for a bald coupe, and leaned into a totally new style. But while John struggled with heavy personal issues, our next actor hadn't had it easy either. Jeff Bridges, a Hollywood icon, Oscar winner, and everyone's favorite dude, was hit with a double blow: cancer and COVID at the exact same time. He said there were moments he thought he wouldn't make it, but instead of retreating, he embraced the chaos with calm. He came back thinner, grayer, slower, but somehow even more soulful. But Jeff didn't really have a choice. He had to endure his transformation. Rob Lowe, on the other hand, he seems to have made a few choices of his own. In the late 80s, Rob Lowe wasn't just a handsome actor, he was a tabloid disaster. A leaked sex tape nearly destroyed his career at just 24 years old, and for a while, it looked like he might disappear completely. But instead of fading, he made a choice. He went to rehab, got sober, and slowly shifted from bad boy image to polished TV star and family man. But after all that, he still looks nearly the same decades later. And while he swears it's just good genes and skincare, fans and experts suspect a little help from Botox, fillers, and maybe a laser or two. Let's just say, time's been suspiciously kind to Rob. But let's move on to our next star, and he rebuilt himself from the ground up. Let's talk about the one and only Sylvester Stallone. He didn't just change his career, he transformed his body, his face, and his entire legacy. In the 80s, he was the ultimate action star. Rocky, Rambo, a walking wall of muscle and strength. He wrote, directed, acted, and basically became a one-man franchise. But over the years, fans noticed something else transforming: his face. Stallone has admitted to some cosmetic procedures, including work on his lower eyelids, and speculation has swirled around other tweaks. But still, his biggest transformation might be emotional. Once seen as Hollywood's toughest guy, he's opened up about family struggles, aging, and even grief, showing a depth far beyond the action hero image. Stallone transformed into a machine, physically and emotionally. But our next actor? His transformation is all about quirkiness. From 80s heartthrob to TV's most unpredictable genius, let's talk about James Spader, the guy you love to hate. He played rich, arrogant charmers in Pretty in Pink, Less Than Zero, and Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Cool, slick, and just a little bit dangerous. But over time, the clean-cut pretty boy vanished, replaced by a heavier, bald, and brilliantly bizarre character actor. From Boston Legal to The Blacklist, Spader leaned into the weird, quirky mannerisms, cryptic dialogue, and roles that left you guessing. His transformation wasn't about looks, it was about owning his strangeness. And somehow, it made him more captivating than ever. But our next actor faced a different kind of challenge, one that had nothing to do with Hollywood and everything to do with courage. Let's talk about Michael J. Fox. In the 80s, Michael J. Fox was unstoppable. He was Marty McFly in Back to the Future, the cool kid on Family Ties, and one of the most beloved stars of the decade. But at just 29, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and instead of hiding, he went public. He kept acting for years, even as the disease progressed, and eventually stepped away to focus on his foundation, which has raised over $1.5 billion for research. His transformation isn't about fame or looks, it's about purpose. Are you curious for our next actor? He evolved into one of Hollywood's most respected legends. In the 80s, Denzel Washington was the fresh-faced newcomer on St. Elsewhere, known for his charm and quiet intensity. But as time passed, he stepped into roles that were bolder, darker, and more commanding. Malcolm X, Training Day, Fences. Each performance showed a new layer of control and emotional weight. Physically, he stayed mostly the same, aging gracefully with that same piercing stare. But what really transformed was his presence. He went from talented actor to commanding force. From playing supporting roles to taking the lead, Denzel didn't just age into greatness, he earned it, one powerhouse role at a time. But Dennis Quaid's? His path wasn't lined with awards. It was lined with cocaine binges, wild headlines, and near collapse. In the 80s, Dennis Quaid had that all-American charm, smirking his way through hits like The Big Easy and Inner Space. But behind the scenes, he was spiraling fast. At the height of his career, he admitted to a $2,000 a day cocaine habit, saying he was basically high in every movie he did. And the tabloids loved it. From wild nights to failed marriages, including a high-profile divorce from Meg Ryan, Quaid became known as much for his off-screen drama as his on-screen talent. But here's the twist. He turned it all around. He got clean, reconnected with his faith, started a band, and at 65, married a woman 39 years younger, making headlines all over again. Dennis battled his demons in the spotlight. But our next actor didn't spiral. He simply disappeared. He is no one less than Steve Guttenberg, the man who went from everywhere to nowhere, and somehow back again. In the 80s, Steve Guttenberg was everywhere. Police Academy, Cocoon, Three Men and a Baby. He was Hollywood's lovable everyman, starring in hit after hit. But then, almost overnight, he vanished from leading roles. The industry moved on, and Guttenberg never really chased after it. Instead, he focused on theater, writing, and community work, eventually even running for local office in Los Angeles. In recent years, he's leaned into his legacy, poking fun at himself and reconnecting with fans who grew up on his movies. Another actor who completely disappeared off the screen? The Joe Pesci. Goodfellas, Casino, Home Alone. He could make you laugh, flinch, or fear for your life in a single scene. With that signature snarl and 5'5" frame, he became one of Hollywood's most unforgettable character actors. But in 1999, at the height of his fame, he quit acting completely. No meltdown, no farewell tour, just gone. For nearly 20 years, he stayed out of the spotlight, making music and avoiding Hollywood entirely. Then came the twist. Pesci returned for Scorsese's The Irishman in 2019. Older, quieter, and more haunting than ever. Joe Pesci's transformation is about control. He didn't let fame chew him up. He walked away and came back only when he had something worth saying. But our next star? His story didn't end by choice, and it still hits hard. Let's talk about Patrick Swayze. Known from Dirty Dancing, Ghost, Point Break, he was tough, romantic, and graceful all at once. He wasn't just a leading man, he was the leading man. But behind the fame was someone fighting to keep it all together. He battled injuries, career burnout, and eventually, something far more devastating, pancreatic cancer. Even after his diagnosis, he kept acting, working through pain and treatments on the TV series, The Beast. His strength inspired millions, and when he passed in 2009, it left a mark on Hollywood that still hasn't faded. But our next star's journey, it's been a bit messier and a lot more complicated. Chevy Chase was the king of sarcasm on Saturday Night Live, National Lampoon's Vacation Fletch. But behind the scenes, his reputation wasn't so charming. Known for being difficult to work with, Chevy burned bridges with castmates, showrunners, even entire studios. His career cooled off, and roles became fewer and farther between. Then came Community, his comeback. But even that ended in drama, with public feuds and a controversial exit. These days, Chevy Chase looks almost unrecognizable. He's faced health issues, visible aging, and mixed public perception. Once the face of American comedy, he's now more of a cautionary tale with a complicated legacy. Chevy's transformation isn't just physical. It's about what happens when fame fades and ego gets in the way. We're happy to say we can't say the same for our next star. Back in the 80s, Harrison Ford was the ultimate leading man. Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Blade Runner, he didn't just star in blockbusters, he defined them. And while most action heroes eventually retired to quieter roles, Harrison never got the memo. Even into his 70s and 80s, he kept doing stunts, flying planes, and stepping back into iconic roles, including putting the fedora back on at 80 for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. He's weathered injuries, literal crashes, and decades in the spotlight, and somehow he's still got that same signature scowl and smirk. We've seen a few stars disappear from the spotlight, but not all of them by choice. Our next star, though, he did something almost unheard of in Hollywood. He walked away on his own terms. In his prime, Gene Hackman was pure intensity. The French Connection, Unforgiven, Hoosiers. Gene didn't just act, he commanded every scene. With his gravelly voice and no-nonsense presence, he became one of the most respected actors of his generation. Then, in 2004, he quietly retired from acting. No last big role. He simply walked away and left Hollywood behind. He moved to New Mexico, took up writing novels, and rarely makes public appearances. Photos of him today are rare, and every time one surfaces, fans are amazed to see him at 94, living life far away from the spotlight. Gene Hackman chose peace and quiet. But our next star? He went from pastel suits and Ferraris to radio silence. In the 80s, Don Johnson was cool. With pastel suits, fast cars, and a smirk that could melt TV screens, Miami Vice made him a style icon and a household name. But as the decade ended, so did the roles. Behind the scenes, Johnson struggled with substance abuse and a reputation for being hard to work with. His star faded fast, and for a while, it looked like his career was over. But then came the comeback. He cleaned up, laid low, and eventually reemerged with scene-stealing roles in Django Unchained, Knives Out, and even a reboot of Nash Bridges. We've seen wild transformations, quiet exits, and unforgettable comebacks. But we're ending on a fan favorite, the ultimate underdog who proved you don't need to change everything to stay relevant. The Karate Kid made Ralph Macchio a household name. His baby face, quiet strength, and crane kick became instant pop culture history. But after that, things slowed down. He never really faded, but he also never tried to reinvent himself. For years, he stayed out of the spotlight, aging quietly while his fans grew up and rewatched him on VHS. Then came Cobra Kai. Suddenly, Ralph was back, older, wiser, still youthful, and surrounded by a whole new generation of fans. He didn't need surgery, scandal, or reinvention, just a great story and a dojo. Ralph Macchio's transformation proves that sometimes all you need to do is wait for the world to catch up. Thanks for watching the most unforgettable Hollywood actors of the 1980s. If you enjoyed the trip down memory lane, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more iconic transformations and throwback stories. And let us know in the comments which actor's journey surprised you the most, or better yet, who's your favorite. We read every comment and we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay nostalgic.